Welcome to the Stealthy Crafter. I'm Jessica, and today we are doing a whip and chat. If you guys are new here and don't know what whip stands for, it stands for work in progress. And what that normally means is that you can bring out your whips, or if you want, you can sit, drive, do chores, whatever it is, while you listen to me ramble about what's going on throughout my week or life, or even hear me rant from time to time. So let's get started, shall we? Excuse me, I've been dealing with a lot of allergies, and it's gotten a little bit worse, and then it gets better, and then it gets worse. It's all that grass pollen that's been out in the air, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about a lot of things right now. For one, as a lot of people are dealing with at least in the U.S., is that with the heat wave, and I'm hoping that you guys are all staying cool. We're staying cool, but I'm miserable, guys. I don't know how everyone's dealing with it, but it is so hot. I'm just I feel like I'm melting. And my poor kids, I had so many plans on having the kids outside while I diamond paint so they can just get some exercise and fresh air. And it's kind of hard to do that now when it's feeling like 110 degrees on some days. Like, it's like, oh, it's a high of 95, but it actually feels like 109. And I tried to take them out one time last week, and that was a disaster. I got everything set up so they didn't have to pull their scooters out. I got the chalk set out. I got the bubbles and stuff like that. And within minutes, I was just like, I was just a sweltering mess. And I could call the kids to go outside and play. And they only played like 5 minutes, and then they spent the next 10 to 15 minutes just whining about going back inside. And they weren't doing anything. They weren't even like scooting around or anything. So I'm like, okay, let's just go back in. I'm not going to try and attempt to go back out again. It was just that. It was that bad. They do not like the heat right now either. So there have been, so if you hear any noises in the background, that would be one, the fan, and two, my kids. So they're probably going to make a little bit more noise. They're a bit cooped up, unfortunately, because we're trying to keep cool, and whenever we do go outside, and unless it was like yesterday, this weekend was nice, but otherwise, they haven't really gone out much at all, and it's starting to show, and they're starting to go, they're starting to get crazy. So I'm hoping that things will cool down enough so we can just go back outside so they can just have some fun, because I want them to get some sun and everything, because right now we started working on our summer homework again. And by the way, whoever invented summer homework, I wish very unkind things to them, because the homework for Michael and Jaina, it is horrendous for their age group, and the logbook lies. It says each assignment only is supposed to take 10 to 15 minutes. My poor kids are spending 30 minutes plus on one assignment because of the reading assignments. And it's, take today for example, it was like, this is for children going into second grade. So this is for my son and daughter who are about to be second graders. It was like, read one of your favorite books. Okay, that's easy enough, right? And then you're supposed to retell the story, writing the character, talk about the character, the setting, the problem, and the solution. And I had them staring at me for, at least a good 5-10 minutes, like, what? I tried to explain it again, and Michael seemed to get it, but even then, he didn't completely get it. And poor Jaina, she's just like, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, well, do you want to do the special treat that they give you guys at the beginning of the school year? And she's like, yeah. Then you got to do the schoolwork, kid. So she wasn't too thrilled about that. To be honest, I'm not too thrilled about that either. I'm just, where's my special treat? I'm the one that's, spending time with 3 kids. I want ice cream. I want like a nice little ice cream and get to run on a bouncy house or something like that. That's what they get to do. I guess my reward is some peace and quiet when they're in school, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so that's how our summer has started. It's been very uneventful. The poor kids are bored out of their minds. I'm trying to keep them entertained, but like I said, it's just been too hot to take them outside at all. Now Nicole's been able to keep herself entertained pretty well, and she does a good job with her summer homework. I don't have to do too much unless it's like it's a board game that they want her to do, or like card games, and like today I had to do a card game with her with like multiplying. We've put down 4 cards. The first 2 cards is like one number, and the other 2 cards are another number. So like if I put down a 10 and a 7, that's 107 times 63, so a card that has 6 and 3 on it. And then we're supposed to whoever has the highest score wins the round. And Nicole did not like the fact that I took my phone out and just used it instead of like what she did, which was you're supposed to record it using pencil and paper. You're supposed to write down the whole thing. And I'm like, no, I am not trying to write and figure out multiplication right now. No, you are not making my brain hurt that much. I have a problem with numbers a lot, where in words too, where everything gets twisted and jumbled around. I don't want to struggle where it's going to take me a while to figure out what the answer is. So I rather just put it in a calculator. And get on with it. She's the one that's supposed to figure it out, not me. I know that sets a bad example, but at the same time, I'm like, I got 3 kids. I'm trying to get through. I'm not dealing with that. So I played that with her, and then she had an assignment where she was supposed to do a paper airplane. She's supposed to fold up make a paper airplane, and then throw it several times and record the distance. And I forgot what was the thing. She was supposed to, like, the average sum of it. I don't know. I'm like, okay. So she started doing that, and of course, Michael and Jane were like, well, that looks fun. I want to do that. No. Last week, when I was trying to take the kids outside, I was also trying to get them to do one of their assignments, too. Because it was like, jump rope 100 times, count up to 100, and then read this math book. And yeah, they did not do that assignment. So luckily I don't have to do every day's assignment. I'm supposed to only do 15 math assignments for them, and like 10 or 15 reading assignments per month. So we could pick and choose, but it's still a pain in the tuchus. But my husband's trying to help out from time to time. He's going to probably help out after I'm done with this whip and chat to see if we can get them caught up a little bit, because I took a little bit of a break with the last week. I took like, I think 2 or 3 days, so we gotta play catch up again on that. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just constantly talking about homework. You guys don't want to hear homework, do you? First off, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been drinking more and more iced coffee lately instead. But yeah. Oh, and the project I'm working here is The Universe in a Jar by Randall Spangler. I'm about halfway done. So I think I posted an update photo of it on Instagram. I'm not sure. I have to post the Rapunzel one I finished last week. I haven't posted that yet. I was waiting for a Google Docs exit form before I can post that, so that way I can just have everything all nice and neat together. But yeah, I need to go and do that soon when I can remember it. I've been having a lot of trouble staying on top of social media as of late. I don't know if it's just because with my kids keeping me busy. I'm able to diamond paint from time to time. I'm just not able to listen to a lot of the people that I follow on YouTube. I'm not able to listen to them as much anymore because I'm paying more attention to what the kids are doing. And then I have this awful habit of when I am listening to people, I have anxiety. So whenever people comment on my videos, I agonize about what I'm supposed to say to people. And sometimes I have this thing where I think I've responded to someone, and then I realize days later I never responded to that person, and then I'm like, well, should I respond now, or should I just not bother, or should I do? And it's been weird, like because sometimes I'm like, well, I'll just don't say anything, I'll just do this. But then I also have that problem, like when I do listen to people in general, I go, oh, I definitely want to leave a comment. And as I'm about to leave a comment, I notice someone else has almost a similar comment to what I do. And I'm like, oh God, what if they think I'm copying this person? Oh no, and I just start spiraling. And or another thing, what I do is I can't think of a thing to say. I want to say something, but then it's like, okay, well, what if I say something stupid? And then what if they think I'm stupid? And then I spiral myself into it again, so I just don't respond. And then I'm like, well, I'll come back to it, and I'll respond to her video later. And I never do. And I feel embarrassed about dealing with that. It's just, I need to break out of that. So if anyone knows a way of breaking free from that, let me know. Because I need to stop doing that by a big shot. So... let's see, what color? This one. But yeah, I think this might be a shorter whip and chat because we haven't done a lot since the beach at all. It's just been staying at home, trying to stay cool, trying to stay alive. But I mean, overall, it's been pretty neat. We finally got to meet one of our new neighbors. Actually, on the day where I took the kids out when it was hot and miserable, I actually got to meet my neighbor and talk to her a little bit, and she seems very nice. Seems to be like an older woman with her daughter who's supposedly about my age. I haven't seen her daughter yet, but we'll see. But yeah, apparently she's working all the time, so might not be able to see her too often, but... You know, I hope I would be able to see her, you know, from time to time at least. And then speaking of new neighbors, our other new neighbors are just bought the house, so I'm expecting them to move in anytime soon. So, and then I'll figure out if they're nice or not, or if they have kids or something. I've always been worried about that. Yeah, it's just been trying to get along with some of my neighbors. I've been having issues with doing that. I'm not actually going to get into that because it's a neighborhood disagreement. I don't want to bring that kind of stuff, that bad nonsense up. Anyway, we're going to go into a different subject. So, one of the things that my kids and I have been doing is we've decided that we're going back to doing our weekly or bi-weekly library thing. In fact, we'll probably need to do that tomorrow or Wednesday, I want to say. We should probably take them back to the library. I put a limit on the kiddos. So they're not supposed to take out more than 3 books now. Maybe 4 if they can convince me, especially since we're going weekly now. And we can go even earlier than that if they show me they actually read all their books. Because the problem that we were dealing with, especially with Michael, is they would check out all these books, but they would not finish all of them. And then we would have to turn them in and check out new ones. And then the process would begin again. And I had a hard time trying to keep track of 19 to 20 books. And I figured that limiting them to 3 books each is the best way to do it. And we just will go more often instead. That way we're actually out of the house where we get some fresh air, you know. They get to socialize and enjoy themselves. And but Michael was upset because I'm making him read more fiction books. Well, just reading books in general. And he wants to just get all of these do you know type books. If basically a lot of factoids type stuff, which nothing wrong with that. The problem is he'll check out 3 to 4 of these things and he doesn't go through the entire thing. So by the time we go and drop him off, he's like upset because he never finished it. And it's like, yeah, because you can't read all of these things in a 2-week period of time. He thinks he can. He can't. The poor kid can't. So I told him he can have one of these books. He can check out one of these books, but the others have to be reading books because he needs to work on his reading skills. And he's not happy with me, but he's going to have to deal, and he's going to also learn to expand his reading library because there's only so much poop and fart and stuff like that I can deal with. And sorry if you guys got a little upset about it. I know some people don't appreciate those kind of words, but yeah, my son does that all the time, and it's like I'm so used to it nowadays. It's just like, ugh. But still, it's like, oh god, dude, stop it. But yeah, it's just cute little things. Well, cute little things like that. But barring the grotesque stuff. We've tried to straighten up the house a bit. Unsuccessfully because we have 3 tornadoes. We have 3 little tornadoes that like to run around and cause a mess. But I feel like the house looks a bit better than it did before we left on vacation at the beginning of the month. So it looks a lot better. Still needs some work. We'll get through it. Eventually we'll get through all of it. But yeah, but it's kind of, like I said, it's hard. It really is hard to try and clean up when you have 3 kids who are cooped up, and they all have their art projects they want to do, and their art projects involve cutting up paper or cardboard boxes or using glue, and then they don't pick up after themselves, and then I have to get onto them, like pointing out the markers, because they have a blindness. I don't know. Do you guys, if you have kids, does your kids are blind to their stuff? Because my kids do not know that they have crap laying all over the place. What I mean is, like, there's markers on the floor, and I tell them, hey guys, go pick up your mess. And I'll walk in, and it's still there. I'm like, guys, didn't you pick up? And I get, yeah, we did. I'm like, what's this? What's what? What? And I'm like, this right here, this. I don't see anything. God Lord. It's like, it's that, and it gets, it's funny now, but it's frustrating at the time. And then my oldest, whenever I tell her to clean the table, so when I tell Nicole, go clean the table, go clear it, because one of the things I do is I want to, record a unboxing or something like that. I'm like, hey, you guys made a mess on the table, go clean it up. Her version of cleaning up is to gather all the stuff, put it into a pile, right? Which is okay, and then drop it onto the floor. How's that cleaning up, guys? I don't get it. How is that cleaning up? Because it isn't. And then I have to get on to her about that, and then the poor kid, well, more like poor me and my husband, because she has started getting, I mentioned this before, but she is definitely entering her preteen years since she's 10. She has started that attitude with the huffing and the puffing, and then a lot of eye rolling nowadays. Especially when she has her friend over, it kind of escalates a bit more. It's like you kind of strutting, putting on a show for your friend kind of thing. It's like, no, we actually had a talk with her. So she had a sleepover. She begged us to have a sleepover, so we had her friend come over, for the night, and she gets a little embarrassed by her brother and sister. Everyone does. Everyone gets embarrassed by their siblings. It's a thing. You'll get over it. You grow past it. But she was very, not secretive, but she was very like clingy to her friend, and she was getting on to her brother and sister anytime they wanted to talk to her friend, or if they wanted to hang out with her friend, because her siblings, they look up to her, and they think the world of her. So we had to have a talk afterwards because the way she treated her brother and sister and the way she treated my husband and I was not cool. And we're like, if you keep continuing, acting like we're, just decorations on the wall, and basically, if you're going to just talk to us whenever you deemed it necessary, like the breakfast the next day, I was like, "Are you making breakfast?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "Well, I'm hungry, so do it right now." Whoa, where did this come from? That kind of stuff. Because she doesn't normally do that. I don't know if it's just because she wants to show off to her friend or anything. But we had a talk. She broke down a bit and apologized, and we moved on from it. And she hasn't acted like that. It's just, I was a teenage girl once, so it's like I kind of get it, I understand it, but I nip it in the bud too. I'm not gonna have that kind of personality towards me, but we had a nice little discussion about, because she asked about middle school afterwards, and she started talking about how scared she was, and she has a year before she goes into middle school, and I'm like, oh gosh, don't do this to me, don't make me start crying. So we had a lot of discussions, but so. Hopefully she's not gonna be sassy this week. Cross your fingers for me, guys, because I fear the teenage years. I fear them so much. um, let's see. Oh, we've been doing pretty good. I have been rambling about a lot of nothing, but we've been doing pretty good. Let's see what else has been happening. So WoW has been doing pretty well. We attempted to do a achievement run. We decided to do some raiding last week, and we did achievement run on Tuesday, and we did pretty well. We got through the whole thing, and we finally got the mount, which is like this. It's like this jellyfish mount, but it's like a mechanical jellyfish mount. It looks so cool. I love it. And then on Thursday, we tried to attempt heroic jailer again to get the achievement for the people who weren't able to get it. Excuse me. Not a lot of people showed up for that, so, and we didn't really get through much. We wiped a lot, and we got to the point where we're like, okay, we're done. We're going to call it a night. So we're going to try again when there's more nerfs on it for those people, and maybe, excuse me, maybe hopefully we'll have more people sign up to help out, because we were like struggling. We had like a skeleton crew essentially doing stuff. We didn't even have our main tanks that we normally have for that. So I've been doing pretty good with my Mythic Plus. I got in all 20s now with everything, but now I need to up my score to hit 3K Raider IO score. So I know people who aren't even fans of WoW or even know this, they're starting to drool and go, whatever. I apologize. I do like talking about WoW quite a bit. But yeah, it's just like we've been doing pretty good. I've been excited about the fact that there's a chance of me playing a Draenei Rogue now, which I've been begging for ever. So my husband and I have this thing where he makes fun of me because I want to be a Draenei Rogue, and he's like, well, you can't because they have hooves, and hooves clip-clop everywhere. And I'm like, well, so? Because in the game there's like satyrs and stuff like that, and they stuff around. I don't see the big deal. But at this point, it's like it's been so many years into the game. It's time. It's time. Just making up an excuse of why they can do this, and it just do it at this point. Become Final Fantasy. I'm kidding. What color should I do next? Let's do this one. But yeah, that's not too much on the WoW talk. I've been playing around with transmogs and trying to figure out, what I want my rogue to look like right now. So I'm just messing around with that. Let's see. been playing about a bunch of color pixels, like it's just color by numbers. On days where I don't feel like doing anything but stare at the TV screen, I'll do that. I haven't, like I said, I haven't really been able to catch up much on any of my YouTube videos. I've done some diamond painting, but a lot of my diamond painting is like if I'm helping the kids do their homework, I'll do like a smaller diamond painting instead, and I have to focus on what they're doing, so I can't really like listen to anything. And then by the time it gets late night where I can listen to it, I'm too tired to. The kids take too much of my focus right now. So I normally, let's see. What I normally do at night nowadays is like listen to some Twitch streamers instead, just for laughs and stuff, so I don't have to focus. And then I go to sleep. So, let's see, what else can I talk about? Because I can do a little bit more before I'll hang it up here. Oh, Father's Day. Here we go. So we had Father's Day yesterday, and I hope my husband had a good one. He seemed to be okay with it. So let's see. We'll go back a bit. So we were talking. I think on Friday. On Friday, his computer started fitzing out for a minute. It would not turn on. It would turn on for a second, then turn off. Turn on for a second, turn off. And he started fiddling around, figured out it was the power supply, blew it up, blew all the dust out, and then cleaned it up, and it started working again, which we're like, yay, because he was about to go buy a new power supply for it. And then later on, it turned off and did it all over again. So he was like looking at it again and was thinking it was probably both the power supply and I think he's like said the motherboard. And it kind of got into the discussion of, because I was talking to my friend about it, and we were talking about upgrading computers and stuff like that. And he's getting pretty close to start upgrading his computer. And she's like, well, the best time to do it is now because prices on a lot of the computer parts has started declining because of the whole thing with the crypto thing that's been going on. So I was like, okay. And I kind of talked to him about it. And I kind of convinced him to basically buy all new parts for a brand new computer. And he feels guilty about it, but I told him not to, because this man buys so much diamond paintings for me, and he says it's not the same thing, but it is. Like, if you look at, basically, if you start looking into how much I spent over the year, yeah, it's quite a bit. So he deserves to treat himself something nice. I'm like, it's Father's Day's coming up, his birthday's coming up, during the discussion, and I told him that he deserves to treat himself something nice. So he got to shop around, and he looked a bit and finally found some stuff. So he's building himself a new computer probably today, because the computer case just came in today. So he's like all he's like a little kid in the candy store when he was like getting all this stuff yesterday, like and then the case came in today. But he was like so excited, but he feels so guilty too at the same time. And I'm like, don't feel guilty. It's okay. And then this guy turns around and buys me a diamond painting. I'm like, I mean, I appreciate it, but at the same time, don't. But, yeah, the kids, they were really sweet with him yesterday. This guy, okay, so I told him I would cut the grass, in the morning. I was like, would you like me to cut the grass instead? Because it's Father's Day. I don't want him to do it. He's like, no, I'm doing it. And it's basically his last time he's able to cut the grass, because he's getting someone else to do it instead, because he doesn't want to deal with that at all. I can't blame him, especially with like the last couple of hospital scares and everything. I don't really want him cutting the grass either. So he's going to see about getting someone to cut the grass, but we had to cut the grass now because HOA will probably yell at us if it got if the weeds got any higher, at least in the backyard. But they gotta give us a pity break. Come on, because it's so hot. But it was luckily cool enough yesterday, so he went out and did it in the morning, and then came back in. The kids had a surprise for him. They were like making cards, and they made like so many little cute little stuff. Let's see, Jaina, she built like this heart card for him. She dressed up as Little Miss Red Riding Hood, and she made a basket of goodies. she built a little basket and everything, and she pulled out of her basket this little card, and she had a scroll that was wrapped into the card. It was really adorable. And it was basically said, "Happy Father's Day, I love you." It was like, aw. And then Michael had his own little thing. I'm pretty sure it was like, had atlases and stuff like that, like his obsession. And then, let's see, Nicole, she made a song for him. So, it was, like, she started singing it the moment he came in. I'm like, I told her to wait till he rests because cutting the grass, and then he comes inside and immediately gets bombarded with all of this. But he was very appreciative of it. And he was wearing his shirt saying, "My favorite people call me Dad." So the kids were all like really excited about seeing that too. I think they like him in that shirt. But they were excited to help him out all day yesterday. So he actually went to the store. I'm like, "Dude, calm down, relax." He's like, no, I'm not going to. But we talked a little bit too, and you know, got to just chill out as a family. He made hamburgers for the kids. The kids helped out. They were super excited about that, especially Jaina. When he got the grill started, both Jaina and Nicole went outside. Michael's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going to sit here." I'm like, "Okay, dude, you can sit here." So they went out and helped him. Like, even Nicole got her hands into the meat to start making the patties and everything. So I think it's because Michael got to help out. His daddy earlier a few weeks ago with making hamburgers. So he probably felt it was Nicole and Jaina's turn. So my goodness. So yeah, we did that. And then we played a little bit. He got to talk on the phone with his parents. So the kids and I played with dominoes while we wait. And then he came over and he joined us later and got to play a couple of games before the kids went to bed. But the kids had a blast. Oh, and they got to play in the sprinklers. So he set up the sprinklers and he he had them playing around. That we got them in their swimsuits and just said, "Go have fun." Excuse me. And then when he turned off the sprinklers, he attached this spray thing onto the hose. It had like different settings on it, and like one of them's mist, one of them's like, you know, like a really harsh spray, and he was just like, whenever they ran by, he just would spray them. He was just like, psh! It was so funny because they would run going, and then he gets them. It was a good time. Everyone had fun, especially since it wasn't that hot. So thankfully it cooled down enough so everyone could have fun and have a good time. But yeah. But yeah, I think I'm going to actually cut it short. I may have an unboxing this week. I don't know. We'll see what the kids will do if they won't be too crazy. They've been doing pretty good today, I would say. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please stay cool, okay? Because yeah, it's getting hot again. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.